Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let's get after it. We got make sure Twitch is up and running. All right, cool. All right, let's get into it. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yep. Yep. All right. So let's look at what we got going on here. Anyone that's on TikTok, we are live on Kick and Twitch as well. And horizontal layout. If any of you want to join on those apps, you can see um, ES and NQ side by side. If you're in the vertical layout there on TikTok, you are only going to be seeing the NQ chart, but totally up to you on your preference. All right, so we have so far a pretty good bounce coming off of a few key areas that we want to note on the high time frame. So we have a daily FEG here that, as you can see, yesterday we pulled back down into. What's really nice that I notice here is we basically tapped right at consequent encroachment or the 50% of that FEG and pulled away. And so far, it's holding. I do want to very quickly pull up factory. Let's check our results from this morning's news release, the non-farm payroll release this morning. Let's see. Uh, non-farm. Okay, so it did come in a little low. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. Little bit of negative news, as we know, that um, doesn't always make it go lower though. But we do need to keep that in the back of our mind. So we have now pulled back. So we've tapped into that bullish daily fair value gap. Also have a couple of stacked 4 hours in that same area. And then now we have pushed higher and now have wicked into a 4 hour bearish fair value gap on both of the indices. So I have this fair value gap marked with just a line here so that I can see it on the lower time frames when we get there. So as you can see, NQ and ES behaving very, very similar to each other, which is nice. Tapping that and kind of pulling away from that area. We have about 22 minutes until we get that new 4 hour candle. And we would be potentially opening this has a 4-hour FVG as well. And then something else that I can just tell by how it's lining up. If we look at the equilibrium, let me get this changed over. We look at the equilibrium, it's a little high. So this is a discount PD array in that 4-hour range. So we definitely want to keep that marked on our chart. Go ahead and add a line there as well. So I can see that on the lower time frames. And then it looks like ES again is behaving very similar, and we would have that same gap there. Now that hasn't closed yet, obviously. We got a couple, about 21 minutes now till that closes. But I am going to go ahead and mark it because I don't foresee that getting changed. All right, going down to the 1 hour now. Let's see what we're looking like here. So we were definitely stuck in this accumulation on both the indices um, yesterday for a majority of the day. Let's see. Yeah, from basically right here is was 12 p.m. and we kind of sat in that tight consolidation range. We got a little bump to the upside through London, small pullback pre-market, and then exploded higher. I am going to make this 4-hour line here dotted, and that to me is showing that it's been tapped or mitigated. And now we are pulling back down. So what we're looking like here, Friday, 12 a.m. I do want to go ahead and get my 12 to 12:30 midnight opening range, um, which is a ICT concept of being a institutional price level. What I use this for is has nothing to do with entry, um, or really it just added context. If it's going to be a long bias day, you would expect little opportunity to get in lower under the 12 to 12:30 midnight opening range, or at or below on a bullish expanding day, and vice versa on a short day. You would expect little opportunity to get in at or above. So you can kind of see where the candles are spending their time after this is formed and start kind of formulating which side of that uh, we're more than likely going to be on for the session. And that can sometimes help formulate your plan of action. But we actually have, where are these lows at? Okay. That goes to this one. Oh, yeah. Look at this, guys. Zooming in here a little further down on the 1 minute. We do have a nice relative equal low on the 1 hour. So we could consider this to be 12 p.m. yesterday. I'm going to mark this as a relative equal low. I'm going to get rid of this 4-hour down here. I don't really need that since we have the daily that it's showing it also tapped. So we do have 12 a.m. So you could call this your Asia low here. So I'm calling this my Asia low, and then I'm calling this a relative equal low to that. And then why that's really sticking out to me is because ES has literally the exact same setup. Go ahead and mark that as well. Yeah, very interesting. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for liking the thanks for liking the live. How it reaches more people. So appreciate that. All right. So we do have a nice FEG tap up here now on this 4-hour bearish fair value gap that we've pulled into on both the indices. And so far, we're showing rejection. I'm going to go ahead and get this midnight opening range on my ES chart here. So 12, I just go to the 30-minute chart, 12 o'clock candle, midnight opening range. All right, perfect. That midnight opening range sitting right above these relative equal lows, Asia low. So far, now I'm not picking my direction of the session that I'm looking for based solely on this, but just a note for everyone to kind of write down in their journal here is so far as the 12 to 12:30 range was being formed, we've had make sure that yeah, we haven't had any opportunity underneath the 12 to 12:30 range. That's a pretty bullish sign, just that alone. So let's keep that in mind. Also, I need everybody to make sure on your chart have this drawn out because these, in my opinion, are the most critical lines, markings, whatever you want to call it, on your NQ chart that you can have. Triple relative equal highs on the 4-hour. You can see yesterday we did or I'm sorry, Wednesday we did wick into these and reject. But if you look at this, even on the 1 minute chart, guys, going way down in time frame here, let me find that spot up here. Look at this. You don't have a single 1 minute candle closure above even that first relative equal high line that I have marked, right? You just whipped it. To me, this is a fraudulent sweep. So I'm not even considering that liquidity swept in the slightest bit. I think that that is a very, very juicy liquidity target that we all need to be um, marking. Now, with that said, we do have some defense in our way of getting there now, and that's this 4-hour fair value gap here in between us. So we need to definitely keep that in mind. I don't think that we're there yet to just start spamming buys towards those highs. We look like on the 15-minute structure, we look like we're forming now a lower high, and we do have a bullish 15-minute FEG right here that is currently holding price. But with that lower high forming, this is looking a little suspect to me. And then we can also look at swing high to this swing low here, all consecutive up close candles. I'm calling that my dealing range on the 15-minute chart. Um, you can see that we are right at this equilibrium. We've definitely pulled through it, but we've also, let's see, that's a 9:30 opening candle, shot up, potentially false direction, and we actually have a overlapping bearish fair value gap here. So this is actually a BPR gap, a balanced price range, where you have um, two fair value gaps overlapping each other. So to me, this is a very key level to watch. Now that doesn't say that it's going to definitely hold bearish. Not what I'm saying. I'm actually going to turn this orange just to make it stand apart from my other PD arrays. Um, we need to be very detailed oriented about how it's reacting on that gap. Because to me, that could potentially set us up for another run at this high. And that would show me that on the higher time frame, we are going to seek these out. But a failure swing here, lower high, right? Inverse here, inversing that 15-minute. I think that definitely opens up this 4 hour down here that we drew at the very beginning of the stream right here, getting pulled into, and potentially maybe getting at minimum a wick through this fair value gap, sweeping these relative equals out before market will try to make another run higher. We are holding this 4 hour on NQ. Like, now actually, technically, we inverse it by like a tick or two. That isn't enough for me to just like start shorting. I mean, if we look at the range that we're in here, I mean, we're extremely bullish. So I don't want to go short bias too too easily here. Let's keep all that in mind. But these relative equal lows here do look pretty good, and they're 1 hour lows. So I think we have very good targets in both directions today, which is a good thing. I think our next goal should be to start looking at building our scenarios. If this, then this. Okay. If this, then this. Okay. So we got a pretty good map on NQ drawn out here. So start our scenario number one. I think, let's see, we would also, let me note this real quick. So our change in the state of delivery on the 15-minute would be down here. I'm going to make this black. So I think for me to really start seriously considering shorts, I think I would need at least to get under this change in the state of delivery. Well, actually, that's already at the gap. Hmm. Okay, disregard that. I don't really like where that's positioned, honestly. So ES actually closed this inefficiency out. So honestly, I'm not too worried about that forming. Got about 7 minutes until this 4 hour closes. Now, if anyone is has anyone that has traded with me in the past knows that the 10 a.m. candle is where I look to do a majority of my business in the market. So what am I looking for at 10 a.m.? Well, just from a theory standpoint, I want to look at the current price leg. And if I'm looking for that to continue, then I'm looking in that price leg for PD arrays that if, so say we get the 4 hour opening here, I want to have ideas of where I could expect the manipulation side of the 4 hour candle to potentially, pull into and tap. And what that helps me do is if I'm aiming up here on the session, then I can align myself not just off of price action, like, hey, this is a good draw on liquidity up here. That's great. But by positioning myself based on the manipulation of the 4-hour candle, I'm aligning my understanding of price action, understanding that this liquidity up here is going to want to get taken at some point. I'm aligning that with time. So that's very critical for me. So I do allow myself to trade 9:45 to 10. Like that doesn't break the my rule set for me. I don't trade the first 15 minutes. Um, in Q cell. Yeah, maybe. Not quite sure yet. We're still kind of I think the market's still kind of deciding. It's in a very critical zone right now. I think right now we just need to let this 4-hour decide where it's going to close and then watch that 4-hour open and watch which side of price action does it manipulate to. Okay. So right here at this high, 845. Actually, let's go down some. So we had our news release at 8:30, right? So we do actually have a data wick down here. Here's that 8:30 wick. Definitely want to mark that out. Let me go mark that out on ES as well. It looks like the highs have already gotten taken, so you don't have to worry about those anymore. It honestly looks like 829 made a better wick. Might actually move this there. All right, so we got that mark. We're grinding higher, guys. So we really need to see the Bears take control before we start considering shorts. That's my opinion. Even though we do have some good targets potentially down here. So this candle is really closing bearish, guys. We're getting, again, here's our 15-minute swing high, 15-minute swing low. Here's that equilibrium. Looks like we're going to be closing underneath it for a second time now. Okay, so now where does my mind go? Let's see, this is 8:45. So I would consider this to be like a New York pre-market high. Get those marked out. Yeah, very, very bearish close to this, guys. I would like if this goes ahead and dumps in versus this 15-minute. That would be even better. About 2 minutes left. Let's see how it lands here. Might have us a short day here. Gonna make this orange on ES as well. And then let's get this 15-minute bullish fair value gap drawn. There. Honestly, the EQ at this point is negligible. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that. So what we want to see is we want to see this thing inverse, and if it leaves this and this H4 open, I think we might have a trade right off the jump of the 10 a.m. candle. Going down to the 5-minute, not really seeing a 5-minute gap opening here. 3 minute. We do have a 3 minute potentially. Let me look at ES here. Yeah, ES is the same. So where my mind goes is here's a swing high, here's a swing low of that 3 minute range. And then this is overlapping the equilibrium. We want that data wick to hold. Want the 15 to go inverse, but we want our draws on liquidity to stay open. All right, let me get this on the ES chart. I don't really see a clear weaker index right now. I mean, I know overall the ES has been stronger, but like for current price action, I don't really have a reason to not trade NASDAQ on this. I am going to let me pull this up real quick, guys. Let me make sure I'm on my correct account that I want to trade today. Trade this one. All right. Thank you for your patience. All right. So if the 10 a.m. opens, what I would be looking for maybe is we get this to get ran. That would be even nicer to me. Now it's looking like it's wanting to pull back. All right, so we did get the 15 to go IFEG. Let's mark that. Here's that 10 a.m. open. Hasn't pulled back for us at all so far. We want to see the false move of the 4 hour. Here we go. ES is now in this 3 minute. I'm going to flip this to the 1. I'm down to the 1 minute time frame on ES. Got a 3 minute there. 15 minute IFEG. 15 minute BPR. Big impulse, pretty big impulse to the upside. ES is above equilibrium. If we were to short here, let's see, 1 minute down to this 4 hour being tapped. Point 0.3. Let's see if we get, I would like to see just a little more manipulation out of it than that. If this thing just melts through, then what we could potentially be seeing is the 4 hour open, wick lower, tap this 4 hour, and then we could look for bullish extensions back up. We're forming a bullish SMT right now with ES. I need something to show me that they're baiting people in long. This little 1 minute push up right here is not enough. I would deem now this to be liquidity. Since and the reason for that is lower low, lower high, and then we broke structure. So I would then consider that to hold liquidity at the top. See if we can get maybe a retap into that. Maybe they baited people in short. Now they're going to come back to where I have marked as liquidity there and sweep some people's stop out. kind of choppy right here off this 4-hour open so far, which is okay. We may be experiencing the accumulation portion of the AMD model. Totally fine. I'm not in any trades, guys. Let's see. They may want to send this. They may want to give you this as the false move. The higher time frame, again, guys, let's not ignore that. I mean, we're extremely bullish up into this drop here. Accumulation. Oh, and even if we miss these draws, we still got the relative equals down here at Asia low on the hourly. So we're definitely not out of the fight. Yeah, I think this is a free trade. Little risky for me though. I'm okay fading it. Congrats anyone that's took it. There's your uh, so ES quite not quite taking the data low yet. See if it gets one more pop down there. But so far, guys, pull this 4-hour back up. We got a little wick here, but well, I mean, sometimes if you have like a crazy manipulation wick like this on the 4-hour candle prior, then you may not have a ton on the next one. I think that just from my experience, I don't think that they're going to just dump this thing down. I don't think it's going to be that free. I think holding for just a second is will be wise. Watching ES very closely here. Yeah, look at that. See, they're about to rip it back up, guys. They always watch very closely for and ask yourself, how are they baiting people in? You want to see them bait people in the wrong direction, the direction opposite of the way you're trying to trade. And what makes an even better trade is when you see them bait people in the way you want to trade, and then they yank it back where they're stopping those people out and baiting people in the opposite way, and then they deliver in your direction. Those are the trades that I'm the most confident in. We're about halfway through the first 15-minute candle. 10:07 right now. We got plenty of time. We only need a little piece of the pie. I'm going to delete this since I didn't end up taking that. I'm very interested to see how much of this wick is actually left at the end of this 15-minute. If this buys its way back up and that 4-hour open right here begins and we get above that and start grinding, guys, I think that we're going to start looking to target this. We'll have to see. I see ES. selling it back off. Looking pretty bearish. Looks like this zone right here is a big fight going on. Really need the market to kind of just tip its hat to us, as ICT calls it, and show us which direction it's wanting to go. Still don't even have a 1 minute IFEG to the downside, which shows me that the market has not manipulated people in the opposite direction. If you don't have even a 1 minute FEG to go IFEG in a specific direction, then the market hasn't manipulated yet. Now, with that said, we saw a lot of manipulation on that last 4 hour candle. So it can, it, one could definitely argue with me and say, well, Zax, they've already manipulated, which is fair. All right, there's our extension. Did anybody take that short? Congrats to anybody that did. Looks like at least the TP1's getting hit. Yeah, a lot of the times I will throw up ideas that, like, if I was on an eval, and some people say, like, some people are against that. They're like, why do you trade evals differently than a funded account? And I understand, like, I don't break my rules on eval trading, but I will definitely size differently, and I will definitely um I won't wait until there it is. All right, ES just took data wick. All right, so this SMT just went away. If we do get, 4 hour opening price, big wick, through this, tapping this 4 hour right here, and we start getting the low time frames to turn over and look bullish, we do need to be aware that, hey, we do have this 4 hour, and even though we do have a tap into that 4 hour bearish fair value gap already, we could, come back. Whoops. We could go back up and tap again and give a lower high on the 4 hour. So I would probably, if I went long today, I probably would take a bunch of size off in that area. All right, so honestly, this is looking pretty good for me. I mean, in hindsight, I would have taken that short, but can't live with in hindsight. So the reason I kind of like this so far is, one, the 4 hour opened and it's moving in one direction very impulsively. I like that. I also like that we've had very little, actually no opportunity to get in underneath the midnight opening range, which is usually a uh, clue of a bullish trending day. See, so we are getting underneath. Let's see, there's that change in the state of delivery on the 15 that I was mapping out earlier. So for us to go short, we really would like price to show that it's going to hold under the CISD here. And then we could potentially look at all this being swept. If we start seeing this thing yank back up, then I think we would look to target into that H4 and maybe a runner to take the pre-market high. I'm gonna grab me a drink. Give me 2 seconds, guys. All right. Oh, there we go. Definitely getting some movement under that CISD. 21 seconds to close on the 15-minute. Junior thinks we're going short today. Yep, that's what it's leaning that way for me as well. All right, so we did get a close under the CISD. We are now in that bullish 4 hour. I'm very interested to see what price does right here. This is basically the dying zone of the bulls. I'm in agreement with my man Junior over here. The bulls have got to put up or shut up. All right, I'm going to delete this data wick. We're done with that. So if Junior is correct, I would like to see continuation opportunities down. Let's see. Got a little 3 minute there. Let's look what ES looks like. Really a ton of if we look at actually before I do that, I'm gonna delete or I'm just gonna take this Dilling range lower. So this is our new 3 minute Dilling range. I'm using the 3 minute because I mean that's the only chart giving me that's the highest time frame chart giving me a FEG. So we have this small 3 minute there. I would be interested to see what price does in that zone after tapping this 4 hour. For me personally, if the bulls are going to reclaim control here, then I would expect them to take this gap inverse very quickly with speed and start to grind and start getting flipping that 4 hour candle back bullish. Yeah, that short looked good. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. Tap that 3 minute again on ES. We did inverse this. Maybe that is the false move up. Oh, we actually have opened up a 5 minute up here. Okay. Now that's looking a little better for me. But ES does not have that 5 minute. This is looking pretty freaking strong. Here's that 10 a.m. high. I'm gonna keep that marked as liquidity. Let's see if this maybe we get a sweep here because ES actually is right at that level right now. Maybe we SMT there, that would be even better. No, no SMT. They both just took it. Let's see if we get a nice wick down here. Opened up this 1 minute. See what ES does to that level. Potentially be getting a bullish 5 minute in here. Still holding this 5 minute right at consequent encroachment for the 50%. ES just inverse the 3 minute. Let's see if this sweep is indeed just sweeping liquidity or this is breaking the high to keep going. ES is looking really strong. Hey, welcome in. We're getting that 1 minute there tap. Not entering a trade, guys. Just brainstorming. I'm in here, guys. I'm taking this. Oh, that's ugly. The fuck? Come on. Bro, what is wrong with my oh my freaking copy trader? Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Try that again. That account was disabled on my copy trader. All right, so I think I gotta leave at least room for the 5 minute underneath us that we just formed to be utilized here. And we need to all make sure that this 4 hour on our radar. Again, we got the big draws on liquidity above us on NQ. That is really what's formulating my decision on the much higher time frame. ES is ripping. May should have taken it on ES. That 4 hour right here isn't right. That's an old line. This is a 4 hour that we tapped. So where my eyes are on NQ is this 5 minute gap right here. I front ran this off the higher time frame, but that's my big defense that I need to keep that uh, in the back of my mind. And then also this BPR gap, balanced price range, two fair value gaps overlapping each other that we rejected from earlier. Make it orange to make it stick out here. ES is successfully above the BPR. 1 minute, 50 seconds till the 15-minute closes. The 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, all are looking bullish to me. Hey, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Really watching how this 5 minute closes here. Need to get above this this at least this 5 minute. ES just took the swing high, so we do have an active SMT now right here that we do need to be aware of. I'm not closing off of that, but I don't want to see NQ start showing weakness because of it. I want it to stay on the gas. We haven't uh NQ hasn't quite made it back into the 4 hour here. I'm putting my trade TP up there for now. All right, so we did get the 5 minute to go IFEG. That's nice. If it comes back down as we're getting a new 15-minute candle here, new 30-minute candle. If it comes back down and taps this, I'm okay. But if it starts to go run through the 5 minute IFEG, then I'm going to be more inclined to think that this was just the liquidity sweep on ES, SMT for lower. I'm watching very closely here. I would like it to just tap and flip right here. I wanted it to buy that wick back up. I'm going to be very, very quick on this discretionary close here if I don't get what I want. I'm going to be a little forgiving with the candle for the first half of it and assume that that could be manipulation. So we got 3 minutes, 20 seconds left on this 5 minute. ES is retapping that 15 minute that it just got above. Actually may have a opportunity to scale in if this operates the way that I want it to. I would look for whoops. I would look for this. Need a V shape and an inverse there. See what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Nope. Nope. That's not what I want. Not what I want. Need this thing to flip quick if it's gonna go. All right, I'm gonna close that. That's not what I wanted. Reassess. Break even on that stab. I like the level and I like the wicks, honestly, but watching very closely here on how this thing is reacting. Now, on the opposite side, let's look at you want to, I mean, we did get a bullish pop out of that gap, but we're getting another failure swing. Let's go ahead. I had to change my chart to the M and Q here, but this is we pointed these out at the very beginning of stream. This is you could consider this to be your Asia low there, and then you could have this hourly relative equal here. Those would be my potential draws to the downside. Remember, we're starting a new 15-minute and a new 30-minute, so we could be just experiencing the down wick of a bullish forming candle. So we don't want to flip bias and get too crazy too soon. I think if this 5-minute holds, I think we should continue to look for longs until it doesn't. But man, that last 15-minute on ES was freaking huge, bro. Yeah, here we go. Good cut on my part there. I like that so far. All right. Now I'm looking at the 5-minute chart on ES as it's more bullish. It is in its first of some stacked 5-minute fair value gaps. 10:36, we're good on time still. Yeah, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, it's looking like that SMT was indeed the sweep on liquidity for lower potentially. That's what at least what it's looking like now. Keep your eyes on this 4-hour opening price on NQ as we revisit it. If it's going to be a bullish 4-hour candle, then you would expect it to kind of hold that price, kind of like what it's doing now, where it might wick into it. See what we get here, because those 15-minute and 30 minutes, the wicks on them can be pretty significant manipulation. I think this is the turning point of the session right here that we're experiencing. ES is up here, retapping down, so it's pushed past this 15-minute balance price range, and now it's retapping it. So as we pull off of this, it's actually pulling out of that. Let's go back down in time frame here. Let's see what we have. No 3 minutes. We'll get rid of that. Mm. Very happy with my cut so far. Maybe I'm starting to see the story here. So we started the 4 hour here. We did go lower, and that's usually triggering me to look, okay, is that some manipulation? Now we're going to continue high. But it can also be tricky when you start lower, you are tapping something bullish that I'm kind of going in line with to start looking higher. But you get this big explosion out of it. ES takes this high up here, high of day, big SMT, and then it starts to fall off. So now we could potentially say this move is the manipulation and wick of the 4 hour. This is going to be your 4 hour high. And then your 4 hour would look to potentially extend down into here. Not quite there yet. That's the way that I'm leaning right now. Need 5 minute candle here. It's opening higher. Oh, they're leaving some bullish looking wicks on these bearish candles. This 5 minutes chalked now. I- Oh man. Hey, welcome in. Yeah, it's looking downside to me, guys. This is looking pretty ugly for the bulls. We also got some clear trend line liquidity through here. And we did get a little of that swept here, but we definitely got some more. So I love trading with trend line liquidity in my direction as an added confluence. Guys, honestly, I think that this 5 minutes going to tell the story. I don't say that just because it's a 5 minute. I don't say that just because you had an up leg here and you made this 5 minute and it looks kind of like the last line of defense on the leg. All that's true. But what's really telling me the picture and how I trade is the 4 hour. We've now made an impulsive move. We're tapping a key area. We have the SMT. right? If we flip this 5 minute and it goes IFEG, then what does that mean? That means the 4 hour candle is now back bearish. We did open lower. That's why I was looking long. Tap the 4 hour. But that could have been, their that could have been part of that manipulation of that, right? I'm not afraid to admit that. But I cut it well. I think I got out at like plus $20 or something. Take it, reassess, get more data. Close the 15-minute off, no gap there. 30 minutes looking very bearish now. All these were looking very bullish. Now they're flipping again. They looked bearish, then they looked bullish. Now they're back bearish. The 4 hours looking like it's about to flip bearish again. Many confluences are stacking up here towards the downside for me. So I think my entry trigger here is 10:45. I personally have another 45 minutes or so at least to trade so that I leave myself in this session. So I got plenty of time to wait for this 5 minute to go inverse. If it is going to go inverse, I think that that's going to be my trigger, my entry confirmation. I think shorting before then, not saying it's a bad trade, but ES is still inside this and it's already inversed it and it's retapping. So at any time that thing could start pushing higher, and that would just be the retap of the 15-minute BPR gap, like right here. And right now, honestly, it hasn't closed below consequent encroachment of the 5 minute even. So I don't think the bulls are completely dead yet, even though it's leaning. I'm leaning the other way. I actually kind of like shorts because I have a very clear entry. We're getting a new 15-minute right here. Let's see. So could be the manipulation wick on a bearish 15-minute candle. So we definitely don't want to get tricked too quickly the wrong direction here. So one break even trade so far. Looking for second trade here. I think we got a decent chance of getting a good entry here at a very pivotal area. We do now open this 1 minute IFEG to the downside. But again, guys, I'm not sold on that. You would be able to get a very, very, very nice RR out of that trade if you just ran it to that swing high right there. I mean, maybe that's worth it in your type of trading. But for me, like honestly, waiting for this 5 minute to break, that's still a 0.33. That to me is what I would want. See what we get here. Piper, you're welcome. I appreciate your comment. Buy, why sell? Yep, you're not wrong. I already did buy, Jordan. I did. Um, we have the we tapped this 4 hour right here off the 4 hour candle open. So I counted this as the manipulation wick of a bullish 4 hour candle. And then I'll look for reversals back up higher. And as you can see, we got a very bullish move here, but we failed again in the same area for NQ. Failure swing made this big SMT at the high of day with ES. I wasn't out of the trade then. That didn't really scare me out. Um, what scared me out was we had, I think it was a 5 minute. The last line of defense on my chart was this 5 minute bearish fair value gap right here. And we, as you can see, we inversed it right here. And then as soon as the next candle opened, I was looking for it to potentially retap and then continue higher. As I saw that on the 1 minute starting to break down, I just closed at break even to reassess. I love the draws on liquidity higher for NQ. I love them. Triple relative equal highs on the high time frame. To me, that's where my eyes are right now. Here, these highs. We wicked into it. No 1 minute candle close even above any of these highs yet when we wicked into it on Wednesday. So to me, those are completely open draws on liquidity. And at the time of my entry, the 15, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute all looked extremely bullish. So I completely agree with you. But now we have another failure swing. This 15 minutes balanced price range right here, where the overlapping fair value gap, or where the fair value gaps overlap, is being respected for a second time. I think that 15 minute just opened extremely bullish. That could potentially be the false move on a bearish candle. I'm not in this trade yet. I was just kind of mapping it out. But if this 5 minute right here, if this fails, to me, again, not financial advice, that would, to me, signal that this bullish move up is the high of the 4 hour. Here's the 4 hour open. That's your wick, and you're going to get some kind of bearish candle like that. If this 5 minute holds, then, we built nice trend line liquidity right here, actually, to look for higher. So that's why I was saying that this zone to me is going to be the pivotal zone of the session. Also, because ES, in contrast, has already inversed this 15 minute BPR, and it's actually down in it right now. And that could just be a retap to continue higher. So if this starts to hold, then that's more than likely what ES is going to do. But this has another 5 minute failure swing. We have Asia low. Again, I don't really like shorts, but we have the Asia low relative equal lows on the hour chart. It could be a session profile of um, uh, of Asia, London, trending, and then New York giving the manipulation rather than London, right? And then boom, big manipulation. I mean, that's a pretty standard ICT profile. So I'm kind of mixed emotions until this 5 minute shows its hand. Earning came out, dollar down, which means gold higher and commodities. Yep. That's awesome that you're looking at the dollar as well. Yep. Yep. Risk on, risk off for sure. But our news came in a little hot though. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for comments. I appreciate hearing other people's input because I'm definitely not perfect. I miss things myself. Yeah, always welcome to share your thoughts. I like being long. Just like that's just like what I'm like to my core. I'm a fool, but got to do what you got to do sometimes. It is sure holding consequent encroachment of this 5 minute fair value gap really well. I mean, one, two, three, four, five candles now. ES is picking back up. Trying to see what would be my entry trigger back to the upside. Um, I don't really have like a super clean IFEG opportunity that I love. I guess I got a 1 minute right here. We did IFEG that candle on ES. We love rejections. Yeah. This looks good though. Let's see if we get the inverse. Honestly, if we get the inverse here, let's see what we'd look like. I'd be fine taking going back in long. Probably give this thing a little room under that low. Looking about four cons. Honestly, you could probably if this thing really turns over, this thing could freaking run, man. I'll wait till candle closure. I'm probably going to jump in. I don't think that we're going to get a retap of this IFEG personally. If this holds this bullish, all right, I'm going to go in there. Honestly, you could probably just target to that 4 hour again. And that's a 1 to 1 over a 1 to 1 just to that 4 hour. I probably at least let me think here. Hmm, this IFVG to hold. Really judging off the big brother here, big brother being ES. Oh, we got an hourly open here. May get some drawdown. I didn't think about that. Decision. Should I just get out? I hate holding through hourly opens. I think that I needed 1 to 1 to that high right there. At minimum, I have to take my risk off here. Probably gonna take some profit there too. Oh yes, I need ES to pop and go make a new high. All right, come on, ES, flip that 5 minute. Come on, flip it, go, go. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. We're on attempt number 2 for longs. Stab number 2 of the day. All right, close that 5-minute there. '15 still bearish on ES. I need that thing to flip. There we go. Come on. If I can get ES to flip this 15, I'll be looking good. What I mean by flip is it started bearish, it's making the low wick, and now it's buying its way back up. I want to see that thing flip bullish and start to extend. Right now, ES is sitting right at its 15-minute opening price, slightly below, it's still slightly bearish. It is also Friday, guys. I need everybody in here to remember that prop firms make a lot of their money off of every one of us on Fridays. You get on the right side and you get a good green trade, bro. Take the money and go about your weekend. All right, that 15 on ES is flip bullish. Let's see if it holds it. Almost to break even here. I didn't mean to do that. Appreciate the follow, Hood Rich. What what part of Georgia are you from? I'm in Florida, so I'm close to you. All right, that 15 on ES is turning over now. I really want to see it get some legs and go break anybody that's watching in full screen format on Twitch and Kick. I really want it to go break this high right there. Giving it back up. It's back bearish. Come on. We really don't want a lower high here on ES on the 15-minute. Really want that high to get broke. Hey, thanks for the follow, guys. Here we go. Back bullish. I want to see this thing grow some legs here and start to run and go attack that high. So, guys, like this first trade that I jumped in, I'm I'm fully it fully followed my plan and my rules. I'm good with this trade. I don't mind how I cut this trade. And honestly, like, yeah, I did get in even lower, and that sounds great, and that's a good. But even if I would have gotten in a little higher, I really wouldn't have been mad about cutting this because I was losing a lot of one of my main confirmations of entering at this time, which was at 5 minute going IFEG and then running back through it. My stop loss, obviously, you guys see, like I left breathing room on it. I have a much wider stop loss than most people you watch on the internet, and I'm totally okay with that. Totally okay with having a lower RR trading style than some people you see on the internet. What I have to say about your RR and my advice to give anyone that trades, you have to ask yourself what type of person you are. Okay. Some people are very mentally strong, I guess you would call it. And it's okay for them to lose 4, 5, 6 trades in a row, or yeah, lose 4, 5, 6 trades in a row. Okay. If you're aiming for a 1 to 5 RR every time you trade, then you have to be willing to go on those dry streaks like that. And you have to be okay with it and not go on tilt and not blow your account up every time you have a streak of losses. And you have to have confidence in your plan that, hey, all I need is one win and I'm right back break even. I personally, I'm just not good at that. I hate to lose. Okay. So for me, I need a trading style that, of course, I have 3 or 4 losers in a row at times, but I need something that statistically makes 3, 4 losses in a row much statistically, like probability of that happening much lower and much less often. And that helps me stay mentally strong to my trading plan better. So for me, I like having a wider stop, less RR. I'm totally fine with that because it helps me keep my win rate higher. The higher of an RR you're going for every trade, the lower your win rate is going to be. That is not me roasting your trading. That is just math and probability. So both of them, and the great thing about trading is both of them work. Both sides work. You could say, I want to be a 1 to 1 trader and I'm going to aim for a 50% win rate or above that to go break even, be positive. Or you could say, I want a 20 or 30% win rate and I'm going to go to 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 RR every trade. They both work. The math is the math. You can't change it. All I'm saying is one statistically makes you're gonna have less times where you have back to back losers. And for me personally, to stay like focused and not get emotional, I need that. And I know that about myself. And once I accepted that, then my trading got much better. All right. ES is not giving me the best look here, to be honest. About 2 minutes left on the 15-minute close. It has broken the high, but it has since kind of retraced back down to its opening price. I really want to see this thing pick back up its steam before it's closed. I may get broke even again here. I was trying to wait at least for this 4 hour fair value gap to get tapped into again to take profits off. But I had to go break even at the swing high. That's just a rule of mine. But very ugly 5 minute candle forming right now on ES. Or I guess good for anyone that's short, but or trying to go short. The 30 seconds left on that 5-minute close. Nice little pop there. That flipped it back bullish. Needed to hold and close. So just looking at price action, guys, what I would probably look to do. An hour looks sure giving up those gains. Um, let's see here, 30. New 15-minute candle inbound here. I really need to find me a point to get some profit off. I really like to at least I am break even, which is one of my rules for 11:30. That's usually the time that I need to be taking risk off. But I would like to take some of this profit off, but not here. I think this I think the H4 at minimum will get tapped, but may be wrong because ES is already back in that 4 hour now that I'm looking at it. Five-minute on ES is looking good. Guys, I keep referencing ES because ES is the big brother. I see so many NQ traders forget that. The S&P 500 has the most liquidity of any commodity. Okay, so you got to you got to stay locked in with ES. If it will get up there and break this high for me. Nope. It said nope, nope. All right, halfway through this 5-minute candle, I need this to be the low wick of the 5-minute and start to buy it back up. I don't see anything on ES's chart underneath us, directly underneath us, where it could want to tap to continue higher. It's in a little 5-minute order block right now. I need this to be the bouncing zone. Otherwise, we're at risk of forming a breaker block on the 5-minute on ES. 11:18. Turn this to the 4 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this 4 hour line here, this 4 hour fair value gap as my TP1. I hate drawing things on the 4 hour. It makes it so freaking long. Hold more, but I'm just going to take 3 off there. I'm going to hold 1 to just see if I get further extension. I would probably do like 50% here on a normal day, but since it's Friday, actually, man, you know what? I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just going to take the whole thing off there if I get it. It's Friday. Go out on a winner. Appreciate the follow, chomps. Not gonna be greedy. It's Friday. Take the winner. Have a good weekend. Need this 15-minute on ES to flip bullish, and I should get it. It's thinking about it. You can tell it's thinking about it. I appreciate the follows, guys. Anybody on Kick and Twitch, go follow me on Instagram and TikTok, whichever one you prefer, whichever one you use. Post a lot of clips and content in there. This is a new page I've only streamed for about maybe a month and a half now. The TikTok, the Instagram, all of it is only about a month and a half old. So get in on the ground floor. Everything is completely free. I don't have any course. I don't have any affiliate codes. I don't believe in it. I don't do discords. I'm just here to trade and um, network with other traders. See if we get this 4-hour FEG tab. That was a nice wick. If it can flip, come on, little guy, you can do it. Come on, little guy, you can do it. ES is 15 minutes flipping. Nice. They'll hold it. I needed to hold the right here and pop. Yep, there it is. Pop. Now pop and go run the high. Go pop and run the high. Pop and run the high. Yep, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. See if we get one more pop here on ES. No. All eyes on the swing high on ES. If it runs it, I should be good. Here it is. Pop through. We'll take that. Cancel the stop. And that is TP. Took a stab. Didn't work. Discretionary close, even though my stop loss actually wouldn't have gotten hit, but I would have had to suffer some drawdown and go with this. Got back in. This could continue to run, but I'm okay, man. I made my money. It can run all day from here. I'm good. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope everyone has a good and safe weekend. I appreciate everybody that joined the stream and traded with me today. I hope you all finished the day green as well. Anyone that didn't, totally fine. It's part of the game. I have those days as well. Anyone that says they don't on the internet are lying. Follow me on, you can follow me on Kick or Twitch, where I have the full horizontal layout where NQ and ES is charter side by side. Or if you prefer doing it on the TikTok app, totally fine. You will just only be able to see the NQ chart. Totally up to your preference. Anyone that's on Kick and Twitch, remember, if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I do post short content there. I appreciate it. And I will probably won't trade Monday, um, just because I'm not a big Monday fan, but I will be back on in full steam, more than likely Tuesday. So drop that follow so you can get notified when I go live, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace.